Hi everyone, this is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a little keychain size whale. So if you like the video or you like the cuteness of the whale, hit the like button, subscribe so you can see other videos as I post those. Make sure you check out the other videos that I've already posted. And again today, I am using my worsted weight yarn. This one is Aqua Sparkle, and it has one of those little metallic kind of iridescent threads woven in with it to give it a little shimmer. And my 4mm hook, because again this is one of my keychain size pieces, and I like those to be a little bit tighter, a little bit more sturdy than I typically make my regular size stuffed animals. So to start our whale, I kind of personally call this my Vineyard Vines whale because it looks very much like the shape of their logo. Alright, so we're going to start with a magic ring, and we'll have 6 single crochets in our magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll pull that tight, and then we'll have 6 increases, so 12 stitches total. So 1, oops, and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Okay. Next we're going to do another increase row. So we're going to do a single crochet and an increase. So we're increasing out to 18 stitches total. So I'm going to do 1 and 2 together, and then 3. Do 4 and 5 together, and then 6. Do 7 and 8 together, and then 9, 10 and 11, and then 12, 13 and 14, and then 15, 16 and 17 together, and 18. All right, for our next row, we're just going to have 18 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. All right. For our next row, we're going to increase out again to 24. So I'll have my 1 and 2 as my increase, and then 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22, and then 23, 24. All right, so for round 6, 7, and 8, you're going to do just single crochets. So I'm actually going to do 2 and then use my hairpin stitch marker. I love that it just slides right on there really quick, and then it'll kind of stay in that spot because you have to kind of push it to get past this kind of pinched in area. So I really like these. I also use these large hairpins when I'm kind of putting arms and legs in place for some of the larger stuffed animals. I tried using pins, but I lost a couple inside of stuffed animals, so I had to take them apart and take the stuffing out to get the pins back out. And I didn't want to do that again. So now I use just the hairpins to kind of press in and hold them in place until they are attached. And as usual, we have the tiny tornado toddlers as our background sound for today. So 6, 7, so I've got one more row here of 24. All right, so that's my 3 rows of 24. In our next row, we're going to do a decrease down to 18. So we'll have 2 single crochets. Whoops. That was 1. There's 2, and then we'll decrease on 3. And then 4, 5, decrease on 6, 7, 8, decrease at 9, 10, 11, decrease at 12, 13, 14, decrease at 15, 16, 17, and decrease at 18. Okay, now we're going to have 18 single crochets, so just all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, whoops, and 18. All right. At this point, we would need to add the safety eyes if you plan on using them. And they're going to go about at row 5. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it can go before 5 or after 5, kind of depending on your personal preference. And you can kind of line them up, either right in the middle of the nose, right below, right above. It's kind of just whatever you think looks better, right? So I'm gonna grab my little box of small black eyes. Let's see. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go behind 5. I'm just ever so slightly above the nose right here, because I'm considering this the bottom of my whale where my row starts. All right, let's see. That one matches. So I'm going to follow this row around. I'm going to try to make sure that I get it also in about the same place. Okay. So I've got my eyes. I'll put some backs on these. You don't have to have eyes. You can, of course, do buttons after it's all finished. You could just embroider the eyes on if you prefer that way. So there's my eyes, and all nice and attached. I am going to leave my starter tail so that I can use it to tie off at the end. All right, so now we're going to do a decrease down to 12 stitches. So we'll have 1 and decrease on 2. We'll have 3 and decrease on 4. 5, decrease on 6. 7, decrease on 8. 9, decrease on 10. 11, and decrease on 12. All right, so then we're going to do 2 rows of 12, or you can just count to 24, which is what I do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of stuffing down inside the head of my whale here, because our next row is another decrease row. And of course, the smaller this hole gets, the harder it is to stuff. It's trying to cave in on me here. All right. Okay, so we're going to have 2 single crochets and a decrease because we're only decreasing down to 9 in this row. So I'm going to do 1, oops, and 2. 2 and then decrease on 3. I'll do 4, 5, decrease on 6, 7, 8, and then decrease on 9. All right, so we're going to do 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right, now we're going to do single crochet and decrease. We're going to go down to 6 total stitches, so 1 and decrease on 2 here, and then 3, and we'll decrease on 4. Oh no, tiny toddlers are sad. 5, and decrease on 6. Alright, so we'll do 6 single crochets. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so we have our head, our body, part of our tail. In our next row, we're going to do an increase in each stitch. So we'll have 12 stitches at the end of this row. So I'll have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. At this point, you need to finish stuffing. If you need to add any extra before we close this up. And I wait until this very last part because it's definitely harder to try to get, you know, yarn where in a hole where it's just 6 single crochets. So I find when you have that other row where it fans back out to 12, it kind of makes it more like a funnel, and it makes it easier to get the stuffing and this last little bit of tail down here. All right. Put my hook back in here. And I'm going to fold my tail flat. So I need to make sure that my eyes are lined up so that I can make sure my tail is going to be flattened the right way. Okay, I don't want my tail to be flattened, you know, going up and down. I want it to be side to side. All right, not a shark, it's a whale. So if you need to do an extra stitch or a slip stitch to get it to where you need it to be, then of course pop that on there so that you've got a nice side to side tail to work with here. So in the first stitch, so these two, we're going to go through both sides, and this very first one here, we're going to do a single crochet, and then in the same hole we're going to do a double, we're going to do picot, so I'm going to do a chain 3, and then I'm going to skip the first two and do a slip stitch into that first chain there, and then I'm going to do another double back into that same hole. And that's going to give me that nice little tail shape there. Okay, so next we're going to do a half double into the next, set of stitches over. Boop. I'm going to do a slip stitch right here in the middle. And then we'll do a half double in the next stitch over. And then we will have another set that all go into the same hole. So we're going to do a double. Oop. So there's my double. I'm going to do my chain 3 for a picot. I'm going to skip the first two, do a slip stitch into that third or first, whichever way you count it. Do another double into that same hole down here. Just like that. And then I'm going to do a single crochet back into the same hole again. And then there's usually this one little kind of stitch on the end for me that I'll use to do a slip stitch and fasten off. So go right around that little post from that single crochet, and then we'll trim that off. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take this starter string from where I started my nose and just kind of left it hanging out down here. I'm going to go over through that same post where I just did that last slip stitch. I'm going to tie my nice little square knot right there. Feed both of these back through my yarn needle, and then we'll stick it right down through our wale and out the bottom. Depending on where you stick your yarn to kind of tuck it through, it can get a little tight. If you're using a yarn that tends to break easy, definitely be careful about breaking off your yarn too short. All right, so there is our little wale, and I typically leave them just like this. If you want to add some little side fins, you certainly can. The side fins that I have added to other wales before I kind of stopped adding the side fins, it was a pretty easy little fin. I just did 4 single crochets in a magic circle, and then kind of pulled that outside edge back, and then sewed that on. So they looked a little funny to me, but I like the way it looks without having that extra stuff on the side, because it absolutely still looks like a whale. And something else that I have done that I'm actually going to do with this guy as well, if I can find the end of my white sparkle yarn here. Oh, there it is. All right. So I'm going to cut just a little bit of this. I pulled the inside of that one to try to find the end, and a big chunk came out, so I'm still working through my chunk. But I'm going to take just this little bit of metallic white with its iridescent thread in there, and I'm going to kind of create a little spout hole here. And I'm actually going to go around this stitch. Let's do one more time before we make a nice little knot here. And then trim that. And I like to unravel these so it's kind of like water spurting up into the air. And if you have one of the carding combs, or a lot of people just buy the wire pet brushes, because it's a lot cheaper than the carding combs. You can use that to kind of fluff this out so it's kind of like it's blowing its mist up into the air. Alright, so he's spurting out his little spout here. I actually have one of my, oops, knocking things over. This is one of the pet combs. It just has the wire bristles on it. This one has never been used on a pet. And once you kind of pull those strands apart from each other, it's super easy just to quickly kind of fluff those out. And then he's got his little water spray. So remember to hit that thumbs up button and give the video a like. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe so you can see other videos as they come out. If you haven't seen all of the previous videos that I've posted, make sure you go back and check those out as well. I try to do lots of quick, fun little projects that are kind of stash busters. So if you've got small amounts of yarn laying around and you just don't know what to do with it, there's a lot of projects where you can use any color yarn and make some cute little things. I do have some other videos coming up soon where I'm going back to doing a few more of the larger stuffed animals. So be on the lookout for those if you're interested. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.